Thank you to the committee for attending my PhD defense. Today I will be presenting on the topic of integrated approach for source identification, apportionment, and non-target screening for assessment of long-range atmospheric transport. This is content. As you know, fine particulate matter is emitted from both nature and anthropogenic source, and its chemical composition varies depending on source and behavior. Among the various pollution sources, long-range atmospheric transport is particularly significant in northern hemisphere, where it is strongly influenced by prevailing or westerly winds. Key atmospheric process lift and transport pollutant to the downwind area and impacting the air quality in the downwind regions. So in case of Northeast Asia, South Korea is located in the downwind area, so thus long-range transport is important. To better understanding the impact of long-range transport, joint research has been conducted in the three countries, focused on the monitoring study and source apportion modeling study. However, the monitoring study only focused on criteria air pollutant and some PM2.5 components. And also a review of study of long-range transport conducted in South Korea shows approximately 300 papers from 1995, and the number of PM-related research continuously increased over time. However, only 30 papers related to the analysis of organic compounds conducted, which indicating the significant research gap. Therefore, study on long-range transport, it is important to analyze organic pollutants. Organic pollutants are strongly associated with specific source and making a valuable organic marker of PM2.5. Also, the concentration and profile of organic compound varied depending on the transport and other meteorological parameters. So we needed to analyze these compounds to estimate long-range transport. In general, receptor models are widely used for source identification. For example, hybrid receptor model combined with backward trajectory model widely used to identify potential source, and the positive receptor model utilized to quantify PM source contribution. Thus, in this study, this model can be further enhanced by incorporating of organic markers. Traditional target approach has demonstrated high reliability and quantified information, but its application limited to some small substance. To overcome this limitation, non-target screening has been applied to distribution of chemical or wide range of organic pollutants. Thus, on this thesis, I applied both target and non-target analysis to identify many of organic pollutants. So this study aimed to develop a quantitative and qualitative assessment for long-range atmospheric transport focused on the organic compound. So chapter 1 and 2 focus on the trend and source of PM2.5, and chapter 3 and 4 focus on the behavior and indicator for organic compounds. First chapter is trend of PM2.5. In chapter 1, I analyzed how PM2.5 concentration and the source of PM can be changed. So in the Ulsan, there Yeongnam Air Quality Research Center was installed, and I used the data from the station from 2014 to 2023. So the data consists of carbon, ion, and metal components. So this is the result. The PM2.5 concentration consistently decreased with Menkenzel test shows a statistically significant. And the other major components such as sulfate, ammonium, OC, and EC also shows a statistically significant decrease. However, nitrate shows some decreasing, but there are less statistical significance. And in recently, there are continuously observation of a high concentration episode in winter. More detailedly, seasonal fraction of each compound were analyzed by the year. So sulfate, in case of sulfates in gray bar, is winter continuously decreased, and there are evidence of local emission in Ulsan in summer. Otherwise, nitrate shows a dramatic increase of in winter, so it means there are higher potential influence of long-range transport. And OC also shows some increasing over the year and focused on the summer and fall season. For metal, trend analysis were classified using Senslov as two factors. First, S1 is the slope of just metal concentration, and S2 is the metal concentration normalized by PM2.5, which can reflect the mass concentration. So in the first case, for example, vanadium, nickel, and beryllium shows a dramatic decreasing trend, and otherwise arsenic or calcium shows an increasing trend in Ulsan. And in third case, chromium or zinc or lead, even though the concentration decreased, the normalized concentration show positive slope. It means the influence and some emission source can be increased related to these metals. To identify potential source of these components, so PCA was performed using monthly data for 10 years. So there was a distinguished seasonal distribution. So in winter sample and some of the spring sample related to the nitrate, ammonium, potassium ion, and EC, indicating their high influence of secondary nitrate and biomass burning. So in this chapter, I want to focus on long-range transport effects, so I analyze these compound influence. And next, to identify potential source area contributing to long-range transport, I use the hybrid receptor model with a backward trajectory model. So in the chapter 1, I analyze PCA plot based on this modeling condition to optimize on the northeast direction. So PSCF results revealed over the 10 year. First of all, PM2.5 shows a hotspot on the East Asia and North Asia, East China and North China. And similarly, nitrate, ammonium, OC, and EC shows a very similar source distribution. And otherwise, sulfate, arsenic, or other metals show some hotspot in the national or southern parts. So it means these metal compounds highly influence from local emission, and nitrate, ammonium, OC show some dominant influence of long-range transport. So in this case, PSCF only provides qualitative insights, so I apply the estimation method based on PSCF. For example, on the PSCF map, I want to figure out hotspot, the value is over than 0.8. And I classify each trajectory data which pass, that means polluted traject, and not pass meaning a clean traject. So I calculate the mean value of polluted period and apply the ratio of date, and this value can be a quantitative contribution of long-range transport. So this result shows that the orange line, the polluted PM concentration follows the mean concentration. So it means even though the PM mean concentration decreased, blue bar shows the contribution of long-range transport is increased. So it means in recently the polluted concentration is decreased, but there are higher fraction of the polluted days. So it means longer residual make a higher contribution of long-range transport. And also when examining contribution major components, OC and EC shows a similar annual trend of PM2.5. And in case of iron, they shows a general similar trend, but in recently, nitrate shows a dramatic increase of contribution of long-range transport. And other, I also analyze metal contribution, but there is some stable trend existing from 2014 to 16. There is a many missing value. Lastly, seasonal contribution during polluted period were analyzed. I divided polluted condition as a whole season. So in case of nitrate, significant increase of winter were observed in recent year. So in meaning even though in Ulsan the nitrate long-range transport of nitrate is dominant. And also I want to focus on organic carbon. So even though the total contribution of organic carbon recently decreased, but the contribution of winter and spring shows a stable level. So I think the importance of OC in long-range transport assessment. So in summary of chapter 1, I interpreted long-term monitoring data to understand change in pollution source and source region. By applying trajectory model, I try to quantify quantitative contribution of long-range transport. Next is chapter 2, research on the source of PM2.5. Certain organic pollutants such as polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbon shows a well-defined source. By analyzing this organic compound, we can identify a specific source of PM2.5. And also using these organic species as molecular tracer, the source receptor modeling such as TMF allow for a more detailed identification of source. So PM2.5 samples were collected in UNIST in Ulsan. So in this study conducted in 2019 in spring and fall, using high volume air sampler with PM2.5 impactor. I analyzed through this process and analyzed non-polar compound using GCMS and polar compound after derivation process. During the study period, the daily trend was compared with OC, OS, and other compound PM2.5 and OC. So during this trend shows that both PM2.5 and OC is blue line, shows a higher concentration event in spring, and OS trend, organic species trend also shows a similar pattern in the spring. So this is caused by the elevated concentration of polar compound, particularly FAS with fatty acid. And also the correlation between OC and PM2.5 and OS in OC shows that OC shows a good correlation with PM2.5 in both seasons. So it means source of OC can be representative PM2.5. However, the right scatter plot of OC and OS shows some scattering with higher and low tendency, but lower R-square value in this result. Despite relative low R-square value, the trends were consistent, and the OS accounted to the approximate 20% of OC, so I will try to use organic marker in PM model. So PMF modeling conducted using the basic component data set and on this study concentration of organic compounds. So the organic 31 organic compounds were selected based on their detection frequency and fraction and specific source. So I want to figure out how modeling performance is enhanced. So I compare two cases. First is only use the basic component, and second case I use a basic component with organic specific concentration. In case 1, 9 factor identified with a secondary aerosol shows the highest concentration at 37%. In case 2, including the organic species, the source profile shows same and with similar fraction, and notably the biomass burning and industrial activity were more separated. So in case of biomass burning, self-factorization by 2, and for related to the industrial activity, excluding coal and oil combustion from two factor and were separated by 3 factor. So biomass burning in case 1 characterized by OC, EC, potassium, and selenium. And in case 2, there are 2 biomass burning factor, also higher fraction of OC, potassium, and selenium. But in second biomass burning factor, there are high fraction of pH and levoglucosan, which are well-known indicator for combustion and biomass burning source. And moreover, the diagonal ratio of pH, such as benzoate-pyrene to benzoate-pyrene, that ratio widely used to estimate the chemical aging. So if the value is higher, then meaning more chemical aging sample. So it meaning the second factor shows a higher ratio. So it could be the evidence of the long-range transport. And secondly, industrial source were characterized by the copper, lead, and the second industrial activity characterized by chromium and zinc. And these 2 factors show so much same fraction in the case 2 industrial activity 1 and 2, and a notable observation in third industrial source with a higher contribution of chromium, copper, and other organic species such as alkane and ferric acid. So this indicates a clear link to fossil fuel related industrial emission using organic marker. So in chapter 2, the analysis of organic species enable a more detailed information of PM2.5 source and specific source such as biomass burning were significantly influenced by the long-range transport. And until now, I focused on the PM2.5 and particulate matter, and on chapter 3, I compared the gases and particulate. I examined the behavior of gases and particulate pollutants alongside PM2.5 because the gas particle partitioning varies depending on their physical chemical properties such as vapor pressure and KOA. So it could be changed by seasonally. And moreover, the target compound in this chapter, organochlorine pesticide, so representative OCP is Mirex, is never used in South Korea, but widely used in China, so it could be used as a strong indicator of long-range transport. So I also collected this sample in UNIST. So in this case, I collected both particulate and gaseous sample. And through this pre-treatment flow, after this pre-treatment, I analyzed 27 OCP using GCHRS. So this table shows some source of OCP, and many of them emitted from pesticide and banded goes 40 times ago. Especially HCTB, hexachlorobenzene and pentachlorobenzene have also emission from industrial and unintentional products, and endosulfan is recently banned. So this is results. The daily trend of OCP revealed that HCCB and PCB show higher fractional level in winter and spring influenced by industrial activity. Otherwise, in summer, endosulfan shows a higher fraction, which meaning their endosulfan is recently banned other than OCP. So, and when analyzing gas particle partitioning, many of OCP have a high volatility, so they are mainly predominantly in gaseous space. Otherwise, some compounds have a higher octanol error partitioning value, such as DDT, fluorine, BLDN, and Mirex were highly distributed in the particulate phase, meaning these compounds have a higher potential influence of long-range transport. And this graph shows some detailed seasonal trend of each compound group. Before mentioned, HCB, PCB shows higher level in winter. Otherwise, other banded historical use and banded OCP show some higher concentration in winter. interesting points in HCH and DDT and Mirex show some both influence of gaseous and particulate phase. So it meaning the influence higher particulate concentration in winter make some higher level of these compounds. So the influence of long range transport is more important among these compounds. So to assess the influence of long range transport, the temperature dependence of individual OCP was analyzed. So the y-axis, the LMP, is a partial pressure calculated from our gaseous concentration and plotted with the inverse of temperature. So first case, alpha endosulfan shows a good negative correlation, in meaning they shows a higher concentration in high temperature. So this negative slope and with a good R-square value, meaning so this compound were temperature dependent, so mainly influenced by a re-emission from local source. Otherwise, alpha HCH shows a no temperature trend, or HCB shows some positive slope, in meaning high concentration in winter. So this compound can be a good. This compound more influenced by long-range transport rather than local emission. So before data using 1 year data, so I want to figure out seasonal difference. So I use gas particle partitioning model. So at the first one parameter model, they show some sorption process, in meaning the higher slope of the one parameter model indicate the sorption process. And in the two parameter model, close to the -1, in meaning a good equilibrium. So result of this slide, during winter, the sorption process dominant with equilibrium well maintenance, that suggesting both gaseous and particulate phase OCP could be influenced by long-range transport. So I want to figure out the potential area via long-range transport using CWT model, and HCB shows some good high influence of long-range transport in gaseous and particulate phase. Otherwise, endosulfan were dominant of local region or southern parts. So this result highlight the temperature-dependent compound provide evidence to distinguish the influence of long-range transport and local emission. In addition, I will try to check the CDPF plot focused on the local emission. So this result consists with PSF result. For example, HCB, PCB, and Mirex shows a higher influence from northern strong wind, and otherwise shows some local emission or southern part. So in chapter 3, the seasonal variability and gas particle partitioning of known OCP was evaluated, and this analysis provides a comprehensive understanding of long-range transport and local emission. And last chapter is a finding indicator of organic compounds. So in the previous chapter, I analyzed a basic component of PM2.5 and around 100 organic carbon, but this number is not contain all of the compound in the PM2.5. So to address this, I conducted non-target screening to identify key compounds that are crucial in understanding pollution source. In 2017, I conduct regular hybrid sampling on a year, and among the whole 50 sample, I select a representative particulate sample of 2 cases. So first case is a pollution episode long-range transport, and second case is a pollution episode for local emission. So I select a sample based on the TSP concentration and backward trajectory model result and national PM concentration distribution. So I conducted this pre-treatment and analyzed by GC2 So the analysis data were treated basic 3 steps. So first step, I want to figure out basic interest compound. So in the GC2 analysis, there are almost 2,000 or 3,000 compounds So I want to figure out generally detection in one sample group. So it meaning if I have 7 samples, anomalies needed to detect more than 50. So after that, I review this compound for classification and clustering heat map. So until, using first step and second step, I'll try to figure out general chemical distribution. And on third step, I'll try to figure out qualified and tentative identified compound, which can be a new evidence of long-range transport. So this is the detection result. So approximately 1,000 compounds were identified as of interest. Among based on this compound, I reviewed the mass spectrum, and I confidence the 360 compounds have a higher reliability of chemical name and chemical grouping. So it meaning there are higher compound number of the linear hydrocarbon. And using this compound, I tried to cross analysis, and this meaning this data set clearly distinguish our sample data. So the non-target compound successfully distinguish between sample and season. So our long-range transport sample were separately clearly in winter and spring. And based on this sample, I focused on some compound cluster shows a higher abundance, and I want to figure out some potential source. For example, in the spring sample, cyclic compound in cluster 2, nitric compound in cluster 3 shows a higher abundance, and it is well known some emitted from combustion and commercial source. And otherwise, in the sample of winter and spring, linear hydrocarbon in cluster 2 and brominated compound in cluster 4 shows a higher abundance, which can indicate the influence of industrial activity. Until now, I just focused on the general distribution, and from this step, I want to figure out which specific compound is important. So I set the qualified compound at the first. So based on each polluted group, I compared the clean group. So I use criteria of 50 detection and abundance. It meaning that compound not and rarely detected in clean sample and shows a higher concentration in polluted sample. So qualified compound shows some level difference, and this tentative identified compound meaning of higher reliability. So based on the 180 compound, I reviewed the mass spectrum using these 3 criteria. So after that, 65 compounds have a higher reliability chemical name. So this is a result, so list of tentative identified compound, and I exclude linear hydrocarbon shows a general source. And among them, some methyl derivative from pH such as naphthalene and biphenyl shows a higher abundance in long-range transport sample. And finally, I want to more figure out halogenate compound because halogenation shows a higher persistence in the environment. So I will more review some halogenate compound using alcohol. So this is an example of the one sample, and as you know, some general detected tox such as PCB and DDT also detected in sample, and there are new halogenated compounds such as octachlorostyrene and butanazole, that meaning fluorinated compound of azole. So I also try to figure out some toxicity of this compound. And for example, octachlorostyrene and butanazole show some higher persistence in the environment. So this compound could be used as indicator of long-range transport. And moreover, so there are 2 compounds name of P50 is a polychloroethylene propanil. So they named as unknown because their similarity result is low. but the mass spectrum of this compound highly similar over theoretically mass spectrum distribution of this compound. So I think these two unknown compounds could be this hexachlorotophenyl or oxachlorotophenyl, and this compound could be a good evidence of oelusis or other heating products. So this is a summary of chapter 4. I tried to figure out something new compound using non-target screening, and I will suggest some final list of tentative identified compounds. So based on this analysis, I further try to analyze standard or some literature review. I can confirm this compound list. So this is final conclusion. Throughout all chapter, this study provides scientific information to assessment influence of hormone transport. Further, I think this study is applied to other background area in the world. And this is a strong point and limitation. And I try to apply combining monitoring and modeling system focused on some quantification or apply new method of non-target screening. But until now, there are so many uncertainty of the estimation in chapter 1, and then we need to more review of the final list in chapter 4, so I try to do more research. And this is my theory, and thank you for listening.